So now the Hebrew Israelites are saying that the coronavirus is sent from the Most High. The coronavirus is the work of the Most High. They're also saying that if you get it, you should be happy and thankful that you get it because you get to leave this earth. So they believe that God sent down this virus, and that you should be happy if you get it. So, let me ask you, Hebrew Cellulite, would you be happy if your wife or your mother or your daughter contracted this deadly virus? Would you be happy? And that the Most High killed them? What happens when the so-called white man, let me ask you this, what happens when the so-called white man or any other non-Hebrew creates a vaccine that defeats this virus, essentially defeating your God's punishment? So your God's punishment is finite because the white man can defeat it. The white man could stop it. Non-Hebrews could stop it. They could come up with a way to stop it. So God's not really in control, is he? Let me ask you another question. Why would you worship a God who allows your family to suffer and die, who sends destruction upon the righteous and the believers? The righteous and the believers are getting the destruction too? Because it's not just the so-called white people or the so-called non-Hebrews who get infected and suffer and die. Nah, Hebrews are suffering and dying and getting sick at the same rate. So what's the point of being a fucking Hebrew, man? Being a Hebrew actually has no explanatory power at all. The explanatory power you say will come after life, after death. But then you can't prove that, right? So again, it has no explanatory power. You can't prove it. You can't prove any of the shit you're saying. All the shit you're saying happens after life, after we can't actually see it happening. And the families of the so-called Hebrew Cellulites are suffering at the same rate as the whites or the non-Hebrews, as the devils. What? Sometimes these Hebrew Cellulites will say, this is a sign of the end of the world. Oh, really? It's a sign of the end of the world? Huh, Cellulite? Every time something fucking bad happens, it's a go-to move in your playbook to say it's a sign from God and that the end times are upon us and it's the end of the world. But all this shit has been happening for hundreds of thousands of years. Wars and sickness, disease, pestilence, etc. When the bubonic plague happened, that was a sign of the end of the world. When World War II happened, when World War II was going on, that was a sign of the end times. When the Spanish flu came, or Ebola, that was a sign of the end times. It's always a fucking sign of the end times. But guess what, assholes? The end times never come, so you just keep on saying it and saying it and saying it, but never happens. Just like this won't be the end times either. Because you know what? Real scientists and real logic and reason is going to win out because the vaccine is going to be coming to save the day. And the virus wasn't sent from the Most High, okay? Grow up, bro. Let me ask you a question, Cellulite. Would you send a virus to kill your own children? Of course not. No, you wouldn't. Because it's not righteous or loving. You wouldn't send a virus to kill your own children, even if your children were bad. Even if your children never listened to you, you still wouldn't infect them with a deadly virus and fucking kill them. Make them suffer. You wouldn't do that. Because it's not righteous or loving. It's not just. You definitely wouldn't do that to any of your good kids. Surely wouldn't do it to any of your good kids, the ones that do listen. But you want me to believe God is killing his own favorite people? His own favorite people that worship and love him? He's causing them to fucking suffer? If the Most High sent down this virus and he wants to kill you, then his will shall be done, right? It's a very important point. I want you to pay attention. If the Most High sent down this virus and he wants to kill you, then his will shall be done. So, hand sanitizer and surgical masks, they're not going to help you. Washing your hands ain't going to help you. What the fuck you doing it for? Why do I see Hebrews walking around doing these things or self-quarantining, wearing masks and shit, or even going to the doctor? Why are you doing this shit? Just go on about living your normal everyday life and see what happens. Why are you attempting to intervene and affect your God's divine plan? Why are you trying to put your hand in it, man, and meddle in God's plan? If you take all the precautions and then you get sick and die, then it was God's will. So if you do everything you're supposed to do, that the doctors and science are saying, wear the mask, wash your hands, do all the shit, self-quarantine, 6 feet distance, all the shit. If you do all the shit and you still get sick and die, well, you're going to say that was God's will that you were supposed to die. The same way, if you take no precautions, you don't do anything at all and you get sick and die, you'll say, well, that was God's will also. But the Hebrews don't even believe the shit that comes out of their own fucking mouths. Either God's will is going to be done or it's not, and it has nothing to do, or there's nothing that you can do to alter his fucking plan. If the Most High wants to kill you with a virus, you're going to die. So why are the Hebrews taking precaution? It's because they don't even believe the shit that comes out of their fucking mouths. They're lunatics, bro. And last but not least, would you follow and worship someone who came in and killed your entire family? Innocent babies, women, and children. Fuck no, you wouldn't, because you know it ain't righteous, it ain't fair, and it ain't loving. And therefore we know it's not really from the true God of the universe.